Blackstone presents The Great Reset, Global Elites and the Permanent Lockdown by Marc Morano. This book is read by Axel Bosley. This book is dedicated to those who refused to comply and asserted their universal human yearning for freedom from government oppression. Kudos to the parent resistance that welled up in local school districts against mask mandates, to the mass resistance to lockdowns, to the rejection of censorship, to the open defiance of vaccine passports, and to those who refused to acquiesce to the new normal being imposed upon the world without the consent of the governed. You walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time. It has refinements, technological advances, and a more sophisticated approach to the destruction of human freedom. But like every one of the superstates that preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy, and truth is a menace. Rod Serling, The Twilight Zone. Foreword by Sebastian Gorka. I can remember it now. It was a chilly November night. I was 19 years old, and my parents and I watched the old-school cathode ray tube TV transfixed. We were watching the fall of the Iron Curtain. Live. Fall is not the right word, however. The wall that had been built by the brutal East German communist regime to keep its citizens from escaping to freedom didn't collapse in some passive sense like a rotten, punked-out tree in a humid bayou swamp. It was being dismantled piece by piece by the captive people of East Berlin, using hand tools. November 9th, 1989 was all the more significant for our family given that my parents were living in exile, political refugees from communism themselves. My father had been liberated from a political prison where he was serving a life sentence for resisting the Hungarian dictatorship as a young Christian university student. My mother, the daughter of another political prisoner, was 17 years old when she escaped to the West, holding the hand of my father, her future husband, as they crossed the minefield into neutral Austria, as Soviet troops were crushing the Hungarian Revolution back in Budapest. They had made a new life in England, where I was born and raised, and they were convinced that they would die in exile, with their family members still trapped behind the Iron Curtain.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?